body weight workouts are not a great way to build muscle at home. However, there are some body weight exercises that are great to build muscle, just not all of the ones you might see online. As of right now, I actually do have a body weight workout program. However, I am planning on removing it, instead adding some of the best of the body weight exercises into my dumbbell programming. Now, there is no secret on the number one issue regarding bodyweight workouts, and that has to do with the lower body. Now, yes, you could do hundreds of squats, glute bridges, single leg squats, split squats, whatever you want to call it. You can do a lot of those for the lower body. However, I decided why not just remove that, take the other equipment such as my dumbbells, which have a lot of great exercises and good for the lower body for my home workout, and build a program around that while only using the best of the best body weight exercises that are also scalable. So there's only 4 main ones I'm looking at, and they include the pull-up, which would be number 1 in terms of adding to my dumbbell programming. Dips is another great exercise with the triceps and the chest getting involved. However, you do need some way to do them, like a dip bar station, which if it's the only exercise might be kind of an expensive item just for one exercise. So that's a kind of a hit or miss depending on how I feel. Then we also have the inverted rows, also requires the dip bar station or some kind of rings to do them. So maybe I get 2 exercises out of the dip bar station, which might make it more worth it depending on how you feel, but I kind of like doing bent over rows instead. And then lastly, we have our push-ups. This is also a great bodyweight exercise, easy to scale and doesn't require a lot of equipment. However, I do prefer dumbbell chest press or bench pressing, as you do get to bring the arm up across the body, which is one of the functions of the chest. So now we have the 4 exercises. How am I going to actually implement them into my personal dumbbell workout? So as mentioned, my number 1 choice here would be the pull-ups, and they are going to go into my vertical pulling exercise. This is working mainly the back and the biceps, but just know it is the vertical pulling movement. Now for dips and push-ups, I am very on the fence. I think I'm gonna actually go with some testing. I was thinking maybe I just do floor bench pressing instead, and then once I'm done doing the press, once I get to that failure point, I actually just immediately flip over to kind of supersetting into doing push-ups to failure as well. I think that would be a good way to make sure I get all of the stimulus from my chest I can in that one set. But just know, I think I am going to stick with the floor bench press or just a regular bench press. And then if I want to, if I'm feeling it that day, switch over to doing the push-up just for me because I like doing that exercise. And when it comes to doing dips, I feel like the only time I'd actually do this is if I also want to do inverted rows. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't take the dip bar out of my closet. So for the lower body, I will be using resistance for all of the exercises chosen. There are 3 of them in my full body program, and they are a squat, Romanian deadlift, and of course, calf raises. So I will be holding dumbbells for each of these. Now, some of them are actually a little better, like the calf raise. I actually like having the dumbbell plates. Since I do use adjustable dumbbells, I put the plates in a backpack. It's actually a little easier for me to stabilize myself by maybe just putting my hands up on a wall and really getting that full range of motion with doing the calf raises. So that's something you could look to implement as well. But when it comes to the other ones, I'm just going to be holding the dumbbells as I feel like they work best. Now for squats, I'm no longer holding the dumbbells up in front of me, so no more front squats with dumbbells or goblet squats, as my arms tired out way too fast when you get to the heavier dumbbells. So it's actually tiring out my arms before my lower body. So now I just hold them at my sides. Yes, you'll need to work on your grip over time, but it's much easier for me to hold them down by my sides and do a squat and Romanian deadlift that way. So we have all of our exercises kind of laid out now. Here is a template for a full body workout you could do at home with dumbbells and the body weight exercises. First up, we have the squat, and for this I actually have the dumbbells at my side instead of up in front of my body. So I was doing front squats in the past, as well as goblet squats way back when. I removed both those options because my arms were actually getting tired before my legs were with the dumbbells up in front of me. So my biceps and arms were just giving out. So now I have the dumbbells down by my side. Yes, you might have to work on your grip strength, but I recommend this instead of putting them up in front of you. The second exercise is the Romanian deadlift. You'll just be holding the dumbbells for this, and they come up in front of your knees while trying to focus on the hamstrings doing most of the work. But that would round out the big exercises for the lower body. The third exercise is going to the shoulders with overhead press. Now you can do this on a bench or standing, whatever you prefer, but just know this will be working mostly the shoulders. Exercise number 4 is going towards the back. We're going to be doing bent over rows. Now, if you have a bench like I do, you can set it at a slight incline and just do chest supported rows instead. This is my preferred method, as you don't have to try and balance your body. You can really focus on the back, doing most of the heavy lifting. The next exercise will be the floor bench press for me. So I actually like the floor press because I can easily get rid of the dumbbells if something goes wrong. Now, I could use a bench instead. This is perfectly acceptable. Just know you don't need to go really past the 90-degree angle. This may actually put too much stress on the chest, and depending on the weight, could actually lead to injury. So I recommend just getting to that 90 degrees, slowly changing direction, and then again, the chest press is going to allow you to bring your hands closer to the midline of your body when going through the range of motion. This is a function of the chest that something like the dips and the push-ups cannot provide. Now for me, I probably will go to failure with those and then quickly flip over and do push-ups till failure. That's just me. I enjoy doing that kind of thing. You don't have to, but that's something I'm implementing into my personal routine. So now into the big exercise for body weight in this plan, and that is, of course, the pull-ups. Now, an easy way to overload this is to take a backpack and take the plates from adjustable dumbbells. Again, I'm using the Core Fitness adjustable dumbbells, so there's individual plates. Put them in a backpack, get the extra weight if needed. Of course, you might not even need to do this, but then I get on the pull-up handles and do my pull-ups from there. Of course, targeting mostly the back in this exercise. Moving on, we're going to just do skull crushers. I like to do these laying on the floor. Of course, you can use a bench as well, but just laying on the floor gets you pretty far. You just go until the dumbbells just barely graze the floor and then back up. Of course, using your triceps to do this movement. That's all I'm going to do. Dumbbells are all that's needed for this, and a pretty lightweight at that. And now everyone's favorite exercise, I actually do seated biceps curls here. You, of course, can do them standing if you'd like, but I, again, try to remove any other variables in the movement because a lot of times when you stand, you start swinging. So I like to just sit down and focus on the biceps doing a lot of the work. And you'll notice if you do this, you're probably going to have to reduce the weight from when you do it standing because, again, you don't get that help from the body swinging a little bit. So I sit there, do my reps until I get to about a good failure point and get the stimulus to let my biceps get bigger and stronger. That's all I'll need. Now, you may not even need bicep curls depending on how you're doing your pull-ups and bent over rows because those two movements work your biceps a lot. So you might find that if you're getting really fatigued that you just cut out bicep curls entirely. I do have this in this template, but again, you might not need them at all. All right, and now our last lower body exercise is the calf raise. And for this one, you can either hold the dumbbells at your side to overload them. Of course, start with body weight once you max body weight, then hold the dumbbells at your side to add some weight on. But for me, I actually found I really like just putting them in a backpack and then doing it from there as I can balance myself better, again, removing the instability. So I'm more stable, have them in a backpack, just put my fingertips on a wall, and then get the full range of motion with doing my calf raises. I actually have a standing platform I use as well. That goes a long way with this exercise as I get an extra 4 inches off the ground in order to get that full range of motion. And the 10th and final exercise is going to focus on the abdominals by just doing a normal crunch. And a crunch, not a sit-up. So what I want you to do is only flex the core to get your shoulder blades off the floor and then slowly lower back down. Now, if you need to increase the resistance here, you can just do a bajillion bodyweight exercises or crunches. You can put dumbbells in your hands and do what's called like Otis ups, like some more like an Otis crunch, not really a sit-up, but you just basically have the dumbbells up in front of you and you're just using your core to get off the ground with the dumbbells extended up in front of you. So this just adds a bit more resistance on the upper body to make your core work a little harder to get your shoulder blades off the floor. Now, as a quick note, there is one exercise I went over earlier, the inverted rows, that I'm not super keen on doing. Yes, it is a good exercise. However, it does feel a little awkward to do, and overloading it is where I kind of draw the line if I want it or not in my programming. So I can put a backpack on. However, the backpack will actually pretty much hit the floor or fall off towards the floor off my back and kind of hit the floor first before I'm actually getting to that extended position. So I don't know. It's one of those exercises where I do it every once in a while along with dips. With body weight, it's fine, but when you start putting more weight on, maybe I put the backpack on my chest instead, but when it's on my back, it's just really awkward to do in general. So again, if I do dips, I tend to do inverted rows as well, but I've really kind of fallen off the dip inverted row train and instead kind of do just bench pressing instead, or the chest press up from the floor, and then chest supported rows instead as my main options. Now that is how I'm going to be implementing body weight exercises into my dumbbell plan and do it effectively, because again, there are some body weight exercises that are excellent, but mostly it's with the upper body. So that lower body is where I needed to make the change. So I basically am removing that program. You'll see it eventually gone from the website as well. Maybe not today, but in the future, there'll just be the 2 resistance bands and dumbbells with body weight exercises instead. Now, if you'd like to see all 3 of the original full body workouts that I put together, feel free to click the link on screen. But with that, remember to be fit and game on.